watching Good Morning San Diego.
Okay, here's the question. To marry or not to marry? A lot of couples think that avoiding marriage means avoiding the nightmare of divorce, but you might be better off marrying than just living together. So joining us to talk about it is lawyer Myra Fleischer. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Okay, that's a huge question that a lot of people want to know. They think that they're not going to get married because it'll avoid all the messiness that is involved with divorce, but you're saying that's not necessarily the case.
You know, sometimes when you don't get married, it creates even more of a mess. What I see in my practice is there's a lot of people who are younger people whose parents got divorced, so they choose not to marry for a long time, or they just choose not to marry at all. They wind up having even a bigger mess at the end of the day.
Okay, and this kind of stems off the Brian Giles palimony case,
Yes.
Which might seem far-fetched for a lot of people watching at home right now because they are not athletes with millions of dollars, but this is a reality for so many people.
Yes, it is. It's a reality because people are waiting to get married. They live together for a long time, or they choose not to get married at all. They have children together, and then they, like everybody else, wind up maybe splitting up 50% of the people. So then they have two issues. They have an issue in family court where they have child custody and visitation issues. And then if, like in the Brian Giles case, they have property together or they want to ask for spousal support, then they wind up in the civil court in two different arenas asking for the palimony.
Okay, so how does that work? Do you go to court to first try to determine that there actually was a legitimate relationship without the marriage and then go from there?
You have to prove it in court. You have to prove that there was a spousal-like relationship, that there was an intention. There's factors from a case back in the 70s that you have to actually show that there was an intention and that there was a promise to take care of the person, that you stopped working, that you held yourselves out as spouses, maybe somebody took somebody else's last name, that there was a promise to quit work and have the person do the household cleaning or something like that.
Okay, so I don't assume that you're saying go ahead and get married just because you own a house together or have kids together. Your advice is that just don't avoid getting married because you think it would be easier.
Don't make that your sole intention. If you think that not getting married is going to make a breakup easier because you had parents who broke up, that is not necessarily the case.
Okay, so you see a ton of clients coming in every day with these kind of problems.
I see a ton of clients coming in trying to avoid the divorce mess because we've had such a long history of divorce, getting prenuptials or trying to avoid the possibility. You can't always avoid the possibility. You have to just move on with your life and make a decision that you're going to have the relationship and see what happens.
And as far as assets, do you advise clients not to get houses together if they're not married?
No, I don't advise them not to get houses together, but to seek out an attorney who does contract work, perhaps. Maybe try to come up with an agreement of what's going to happen at the end of the day.
Okay. Myra, thanks so much for joining us. Where can we find you?
My office is up in Solana Beach, and I have several associates. We do only family law.
Okay, wonderful. Myra, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me today.